Okay, Queens, I want to make a video. So I've learned that people in like the Drag Race fandom just do not have media comprehension skills. Actually, I feel like nobody has media comprehension skills. And like, I think people make fun of the whole like, it's not that deep kind of mentality, which it should be made fun of. But also like media is new. Like television and TV has not been around that long, and there isn't a long developed tradition in understanding media from like a ground up perspective, you know? Like we learn how to analyze books and shit as like a child, but we don't really learn media in the same way, like digital media or like analog, like, you know what I'm talking about. So there is no comprehension when it comes to media, so I feel like I just want to talk about that. I don't know, I'm a media studies major. Well, I graduated and now I'm poor. Get a degree that will actually get you money. So I want to talk about, you know, If you don't know, you know what is. It was a TV show by, TV show, web series. Is it still going on? I think it's canceled. Where it's just like two drag queens, Trixie and Katya, who just kind of talk about whatever they want. There's like a topic for each episode. The topic could be like death or love or airplanes or the weather. The weather is my favorite episode. KTLA trying to turn me on.
Hard nipples.
That was my favorite. And the show was so successful that it kind of, not single-handedly, but it really skyrocketed Trixie and Katya into kind of the two biggest celebrities of Drag Race for a very long time. I think Katya has kind of given up doing any sort of thing that's not with Trixie, so her kind of celebrity has kind of fallen, but she's a lot of people's favorite drag queen, and Trixie Mattel is the most popular drag queen. She's so rich, but that's for other reasons.
Trixie Mattel is so rich now. She is so rich. She's got TV specials and albums.
But the show is very, very successful, and I want to explain why the show is successful, mainly going into like historical details, which is kind of boring, but also like the psychology of the show and like how it develops parasocial relationships with the viewer, because that sounds interesting. Also, do you like my makeup? I was trying to go for I don't know what I was going for. Let's go.
I wanna kill my dad. I wanna kill my...
Let's talk about the history. So when the show came out, it started filming right after Katya came back from All Stars 2.
And right when Katya got home from All Stars, we started,
And Katya was like, she was a fan favorite from season 7. Trixie, no one really liked her. They liked her, but like Katya, they really liked her. The show started, it's so hot in here. Oh my God. Bitch, it's 71 degrees. You can't do that to Big Mama. I'm not wearing any underwear. Don't look at my love handles. So it started because they did a parody of Raven and Raja's fashion photo review.
Hi, I'm Tina Marino. Hi. Hi, I'm Toby Maguire.
That was kind of the first thing that people saw of Trixie and Katya together, and then it was also the Besties for Cash, which was another World of Wonder show. And World of Wonder it's like the media production company that I don't know if it owns Drag Race. Let me look it up. World of Wonder. They manage the career, so they manage RuPaul? Okay, yeah. But also World of Wonder, it's like a digital thing where they have a bunch of shows online, and their really big one was Fashion Photo Review. But back then they had some other ones that were doing well, but they didn't have a consistent series that was kind of slaying it out. The only like YouTube drag queen back then was Willem. And Willem, pit stop to talk about Willem. The pit stop. I want Willem on the pit stop, but she'll never be on the pit stop. Willem kind of slayed early YouTube drag content. She had videos that were hitting tens of millions of views. She had a show called Willem's Beatdown, which she still does, but she kind of posts more intermittently now. She focuses on Moguls of Media, which is an inverse of World of Wonder, which does podcasts. But Willem was really the only like early drag queen to like slay the social media game. It really was Willem she was the diva. Her and Adore. Adore was more Instagram. This is so off topic. Let's get back to But people really wanted digital shows from drag, but there wasn't. There were digital shows, but like none that could be like banged out as quickly, and kind of filled that void, and it was perfect storm because people thought Trixie was robbed when she went home to Pearl, and they voted for Katya to be Miss Congeniality. They loved Katya, so they started the show, and it was doing very well. And then when Katya got back on All Stars 2, like when it started airing, people really, really, really gravitated to Katya again and thought she was robbed because they wanted her to win the show.
Hey, were you robbed?
I was burgled.
Katya was robbed.
Yeah, the
You were
true winner
robbed.
of all stars.
That's the true tea. Robbed, Mom.
Yeah, you ready for some piping hot scalding tea splashed all over your face, bitch?
No.
Me neither.
So she was like, they loved Katya. They liked Trixie. Trixie was cute, but Katya was gorgeous, and gorgeous devours cute. So because of like Katya's celebrity, people really wanted to watch Katya content, and there was and Trixie kind of talked about how like earlier on in they thought she viewed herself as like the young, ambitious ingenue, and Katya was like the older, more famous.
And she was like more famous than me, and like but so crazy and so up and down in her life that I was always like, oh, I'm the young, ambitious one who keeps us on the rails.
Oh, I'm gonna have a coffee. It's 8:20 p.m. So people were like desperate to watch Katya. They really liked her. They wanted to see more of her because she's great. She's like the most, she's like Latrice Royale. They're like the most beloved people from the Drag Race fandom. I think the only other person to really hit that is like Sasha Colby, because there's no one who dislikes Sasha Colby. But like Katya, everyone loves Katya. So that was kind of like the start of the show. But then like Trixie's work ethic is insanity. She continued to have so many ventures outside of just her stuff with Katya that was only on level with like RuPaul. Like no other drag queen besides RuPaul prior to Trixie was really trying to brand themselves and work the way that she does and did. So she kind of was able to like, after the initial like flash in the pan of like Katya's big fame, Trixie was like, okay, well, I'm gonna keep working. And because of that, both of them, like, it was just a match made in heaven. And that's like the history of it, but also like their chemistry was good. They genuinely liked each other, and I feel like a lot of people, when they interacted with Katya trying to be funny, they kind of just laughed at her ridiculousness. Oh my god, ridiculousness. But Trixie like genuinely liked Katya and just kind of was unfazed by a lot of her ridiculousness a lot of the time. So because they both liked each other, the chemistry was good. But on top of that, both of their senses of humor are very different. Trixie is very self-deprecating and relatable.
You know what though? When I watch this show, this is how I talk to you on this show. Posture here.
Hideous profile.
But facing you.
Can I just say,
What?
thank God we're a little funny. Because if it was just this, if it was just how good we look, girl, I'd be in South Brooklyn chewing on a cat turd.
Ugly doesn't get better with age. You just get old and ugly. So like, I was never gonna age into it. And when I was 20, I was just young and ugly. So like, the hotness never...
Do you really think that you were ugly?
I'm very at peace with the fact that I'm pretty unattractive.
It's kind of bizarre. I've talked about it before, but like Trixie tries to brand herself as like an underdog.
the way to win Drag Race now is to be middle of the road. That's what you did. Get into it.
I lost Drag Race like 12 times. It's fine.
When in fact she is the most famous drag queen outside of maybe RuPaul and like Medea, at least in like the current day. But she's very self-deprecating, but also just like unabashedly gay. She's just so gay, like monster lady gay.
So much, Charlene. Now, if you look to your left here over in Jamesville, we have a 100% chance of skin damage and a 50% chance of very hard nipples. So hard.
And she kind of just keeps trying to make Katya laugh.
Is there dust?
Where like Katya is much more absurdist. Also, have you seen this video of Katya? It's called Reunion with Detox.
Mother, I haven't yet made a deal with the FDA to help me quit smoking again. Mother, my 3 daughters are being uncooperative again.
Katya is just absurdist. A lot of her like quotes and sayings from the show are like not really jokes. They're just absurd.
And I'm the only surefire way to disengage your temporomandibular joint, Dr. Bitchcraft. I don't know what. Let's party. Katya. That was a long one. That was a long, I don't know what happened to you. I don't either. I don't either have it. I got a sunburn and I'm fucked now. I don't know what happened.
Like, she just kind of, like, loosely says things that don't really go together, and you're just laughing at, like, how did you put these things together? Where, like, a lot of Trixie's jokes were, like, they're fun, both of their senses of humor are funny, they're just very different. And I think it makes it not get redundant when watching the show, because Trixie's humor is one type of way, and Katya's humor is another type of way. And usually it's hard to, like, mix two senses of humor together, but because they genuinely like each other and the nature of, like, how the show is, it just kind of, like, is... That didn't make any sense. Let's take that back. Because they both like each other genuinely and they're, like, each other's best friend, they're able to, like, yes and each other and do improv much easier, even though they're very different. And it's not like one person playing, like, a humorous one and one person playing the straight man. Like, it's not one person's funny and one person's trying to ground it. They're both very funny, just in very different ways. Okay, I think that's done with the historical parts of it. Is it gonna be a shorter video? I hope so. God, my one Plain Jane video was like an hour long. That shit was so hard to edit. Actually, it wasn't that hard to edit. It just took a long time.
When you choked out the child, yeah, it was oh so cool.
So I want to talk again about media enmeshment, which I brought it up in my Plain Jane video. I think another way to describe media enmeshment is kind of like hypnosis. So, like, media enmeshment is when you feel like you are in the room or you are the character in the show. It's what makes horror movies so good, because, like, you know everything consciously isn't real, but you're feeling the heartbeat. This is my heartbeat song. You're, like, feeling the adrenaline as if you were that person. And it's done through it, like, it's kind of, okay, now I get to get pretentious and talk about media studies, but it's kind of like a sense of hypnosis. It's like you're seeing these rapidly moving images on a screen, and by watching it, you kind of get, like, dulled down, if that makes sense. And it kind of, like, breaks back your ego, and you just kind of become a receptacle to, like, consume. I think people say media consumption and they don't really know what they're talking about. I think it just become, like, one of them terms. But yeah, like, when watching like, every show, you become enmeshed a little bit with the people and you become, like, hypnotized by it. Like, I don't know, I remember watching the show. I hate saying The one thing I hate about this show is the name, but because it's so horrible, I have to live. I'll live. But I remember watching the show instantly, and it was like, the editing is crazy. I don't know if you know the editing style of this show. It is so bizarre. It is so just throw everything at the wall. And in order to watch the show, you kind of just have to, like, turn off your brain and be like, okay, and then just kind of, like, yes and all of the stimuli. It's kind of like the prototype of, like, Subway Surfer videos or, like, media sludge videos, where it's like there's just so much stimulus that your brain turns off. And especially, like, the show is so good at binging, because, and binging also, like, watching a show repeatedly kind of tears down, like, in one sitting, it really tears down your psyche. And with, like, binging social media stuff, it does that even more. And these videos, they're, like, 10 minutes long, so, like, it's easy to watch, like, 4 or 5 of them back to back to back to back to you. So, like, watching them on repeat just kind of causes your ego to be, like, disillusioned for a moment, and it puts it on, like, the back burner. And in doing that, we kind of, like, our stream of consciousness, it feels like it's being shared by Trixie and Katya. And I want to, okay, let me explain. Like, example, if I'm talking to you, and I'm talking about, like, oh, a little blue bird, okay? When I'm talking to you, you're, like, imagining a little blue bird in your head, right? Or if I'm the one, I'm saying little blue bird, and I'm just saying that, but I'm thinking of a little blue bird in my head. If they're talking about something, it pops up on the screen. So, like, if Trixie is looking at Katya and is like, hey, Katya, I like Little Blue Bird, then a blue bird is going to appear on the screen. And that match of, like, what they're saying causes you to think an image, but then you're seeing that image reflected on the screen. It kind of further causes you to enmesh with the media. It's like your stream of consciousness. Like, when you're talking with a friend, you know that like, mind meld, when you're, like, you're talking and then you accidentally say the same thing at the same time?
But washing at Pride, if you're
Rainbow
talking
washing?
about some...
Oh, I get it.
When they say, like, you know...
Hi, gay! Sashay into a deal today.
We are sashaying into deals.
It's like, when you're with a friend that happens really naturally. You're just kind of talking with them, and both of you are like, your consciousness has fused within the conversation because you like each other. And that's what Trixie and Katya are doing on but because of like the reflection of the things being flashed on the screen, that also further causes you to enmesh with them. And because of that, there's an increase in parasociality, which I think everybody knows like what a parasocial relationship is, but I think it gets a bad rap. And I think because of like the extremists of parasociality, like the guy who tried to kill Bjork or the guy who tried to kill Jodie Foster, contact.
Hi, and I've finally lost contact with reality. Katya. Can I try that again? No, it's fine.
I wish you wouldn't. I wish you would stop.
But like a streamer is a parasocial relationship. You just like have a stream on and it's causing you to, you feel like you have a friend in the room with you. So I think, okay, the original, so parasocial relationships, I think it was in the 50s or 60s when it was first discussed. Ooh, my balls hurt. It was like the 50s or 60s when that was first discussed. And it was about, who's the Liberace? It was about Liberace, and he used to do these shows where he would like play piano and talk directly to the camera.
After spending an active day like this, I like to do what a lot of folks like to do, and that is spend a few moments of relaxation after a busy day watching the television at home. Shall we see what's on?
That's the reference they use, like the original, the founding text, what do you call it? The first article that discussed parasocial relationships. And the people who made it were saying that like women, housewives who sat at home, they felt like Liberace was like, I guess, an in-place husband. They had like a parasocial relationship with them and they felt like they knew Liberace. And I think in moderation, I think parasocial relationships are actually good. I think it's fun. I think it's just like a new type of relationship that kind of exists in this digital age, like the analog media age. I want another cup of coffee. The Pete's Coffee Dark Roast is fierce. And parasocial relationships, I think, increase the cancel culture, which I hate the idea of cancel culture. I feel like that's, I don't know, it's a really watered down term. But you feel like you know these people, you feel like they're your friend, so when they do something that makes you feel like they should be canceled, it feels like a betrayal. Anyway, but parasociality, parasocial relationships isn't that bad a thing. I think they're fine. And kind of like all types of media have to create some sense of parasocial relationships. I guess outside of like truly avant-garde, but even then, when something really avant-garde happens, people have a tendency to latch on to the artist. And so I don't think you can really escape the parasocial relationship of it. But like all media tries to create a parasocial relationship. That's what makes media work. Otherwise, it would be just, you're just looking at an image, but it's like it needs to draw you in somehow. It needs to have aura. Ooh, your aura, it slayed. I think like a clear example is the Wizard of Oz. Like in the Wizard of Oz, it goes from black and white to color. Not because the actual world goes from black and white to color, but because of that, you feel like Dorothy. I feel like Dorothy.
It's like, I feel like Dorothy. I feel like Dorothy. The wizard is not real. The wizard is not real.
Like when you're watching everything happen in black and white, you feel like Dorothy, where like, oh, everything is boring. Everything, it's just kind of monotonous, it's whatever. And then the transition into color causes the viewer to feel the sense of excitement that Dorothy has. And that kind of like latches you on to Dorothy, you know? And then at the end, like the movie is concocted in such a way that the big reveal at the very end, when like the wizard is not real, when you find that out, you feel like Dorothy. You have the same sense of betrayal that Dorothy had. Another example, it's like this video I'm making. By having it like shot in the way that it's shot, in this like photo booth frame, and then it being like really the background just kind of being just like randomly staged, and then like the green screen, like everything looks like, ooh, okay, Miss Buff. Ooh, okay, slay the world. By having it be really like stripped back in a way, it feels more disarming. And that's what all media does. It tries to disarm the viewer to make them enmesh more easily. And that can be done in a whole host of ways. I think just when it comes to the way they did it was matching the stream of consciousness to what is displayed on the back. It's kind of like watching a PowerPoint presentation, but so much more entertaining. Like, the rise of the show, was like perfect in the age of fast media. It kind of started like, obviously YouTube and social media had been around prior to that, but it was around like that 2015, 2016 when like pretty much everybody, at least in the West, which I hate the idea of the West, but that's a whole tangent. Everybody started engaging with fast media, and I think really reflected how people felt when scrolling so fast on your phone. It's like having everything being so hyperactive. That's what it feels like. It's like that one Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. I forget which one it is, but it kind of is like there's like a manic excitement in living your life online that I think the really crazy editing style of reflected. And through watching the show, there's a sense of joy. It's like you feel like you're with friends. And I don't know, as capitalism progresses, we become more and more alienated. That's just kind of, third spaces are disappearing. That's a whole thing. But there's just so much fun in like watching a show, and you feel like you're talking with your friend. So I guess that's more of like a philosophical understanding. But also, mama, this show is marketable.
I wanna kill my dad. I wanna kill my dad.
Trixie Mattel she is the diva of branding. Her literal character is like a parody of consumerist culture. I think people forget that. This show is fantastic. Okay, let's take it back. Hey, what's up, you guys? It's great branding. It has a very clear start. You have a little like beginning, which like the beginning of the show is them like talking off. Oh, my screen froze. The beginning of each show is them like talking off camera, kind of more candid.
Coco Chanel always used to say, take one thing out of your before leaving the house.
I always choose panties.
You wear your panties inside your vagina.
Inside my vagina.
And then it has a very clear, hi, my name is, insert a little joke. Trixie Mattel, hi, my name is, insert a little joke. Katya.
Hi, we need to talk about Kevin. Trixie Mattel.
And that chainsaw doesn't do what you think it does, but I don't know. Katya.
And welcome to the show where we talk about whatever we want.
Because it's our show.
And not yours.
No.
Impos.
But because it's a very clearly defined boundary of like, set up this joke, because it's our show, not yours. Cut to the thing. A lot of people will just watch the show just to see the intros. It's kind of like when people watch Drag Race, they just kind of skim to the end to watch the runway. People really enjoy the intro of the show because it's a funny joke that kind of changes a little bit every week. But it's like Pokemon. Every week on the Pokemon show, you get to catch a new Pokemon. You find a new Pokemon in Kanto. And it's like every week it's kind of the same formula. It's very repetitive. Find the Pokemon. Or like with Scooby-Doo, you know they're gonna be revealed at the end. You know they're gonna, and like there's like story beats. They're gonna hit the exact same every single episode. But it just kind of changes a little bit every episode. So that's like a fun branding thing from it. But also a good branding piece is like by having a duo, they're like, I think Trixie would talk about how people feel like, oh, I'm the Trixie in my friendship, or I'm the Katya in my friendship, you know? And by having this like yin and yang, this like back and forth, I'm a Libra, so I have to go back and forth, I have to balance. By having this, people can kind of, in friendships, see themselves as a particular one in the duo, but also it's like you can brand a duo very well. Like I have hold on, give me my shirt. Yeah, I have this shirt. That's like this Katya shirt. It's like Katya, she's a little bit garbage.
I'm from the country, very poor family.
She's a little bit country.
You're a little bit garbage.
I'm a little bit garbage.
And like my friend and like my best friend, she was like, oh, I'm the Trixie. I have a shirt, even though she's not like. I'm not like Katya. She's not like Trixie. But because there is like a duo dynamic, it's easier to feel like, oh, well, I'm this one and she's this one, you know? So like having a duo dynamic really causes people to latch on to the show. But also, when you're with your friend, you develop inside jokes, right? And watching Trixie and Katya just kind of be friends on camera, they develop their own inside jokes. Example, she's a little bit country, I'm a little bit garbage. Or like the contact thing, or Thwarp.
Thwarp.
Oh, the fans? I hate Thwarp. Yeah.
That works for me.
Okay.
But then in modern beauty, it's all about being realistic. Christian Dior mascara.
So like the inside jokes that develop on camera also develop with the audience. They become parasocial inside jokes. Clock that term, coining it. Because you see the jokes develop on screen, you also feel like you're in on the joke. And it feels like what's so great about inside jokes is they feel like your joke, but they also bond communities together. And by seeing the jokes develop on screen, you feel like you're a part of the community. You feel like you're a part of the inside joke. But that can be really exploited in a marketing way because you feel so connected to this idea of this inside joke. It feels much more personal because it's not like it's a joke that you think is funny. It's like a community that's bound together by this joke. And that could be marketed very easily because people want that sense of community. I don't know. I feel like I had everything I needed to say in this video. I hate video essays that are just like a bunch of filler. So I think I'm going to end it here. I think it's a great show. I love Trixie and Katya, some of my favorites. Katya is, I think, so underrated as an actual artist. I love her absurdist style. I don't think there's anyone else like Katya, and I think it takes a sense of intelligence to be that absurd. And I think Trixie's work ethic is incredible. Incredible! I love Trixie Mattel. I think her makeup is cool. I love her shows, Trixie's Motel. I watch all of Trixie. I have a parasocial relationship with Trixie and Katya. That's why I made this video. I wanted to explain why I have a parasocial relationship with them. Yeah, because I started watching the show when I was young. Like, when I was probably like 15, 16 when I started watching And I think a lot of people who also watched that was their like gate into queer culture. So I think that causes them to have like a really an affinity towards Trixie and Katya. Anyway, that's my video. Please send money to my Venmo. I need to pay rent. I don't have enough money to make rent for this month. I might start a Patreon just to like, you don't know how poor I am, okay? I had to move out of my house because there was a pipe that burst, everything was broken in our house, and then we had to move somewhere so quick, and it's the only place we could find that wasn't horrible, and this place is so expensive, so I'm leaking money. Anyway, thank you so much. Slay the world.